Hi guys, welcome to our video. We're going to do a round of introductions and then Joshua will take us through the reason that we're here. I'll start. My name is Andrew.
My name is Rodney.
I'm Chris.
My name is Joshua.
I'm Benji.
Brian.
Mal.
Hi, my name is Gathoni, and I am a clinical psychologist. And I'm really excited to have this conversation today with these great young men. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Alright, so we decided to have this talk as young people who have all at some point experienced mental health challenges or had people close to us who have gone through the same. We believe that we as youth must take up this initiative and begin the conversation to speak about what people will not talk about.
So I think so.
Okay. So let's get into the convo. So remember last time we talked about toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Where does toxic masculinity come from, in your opinion?
I guess I'll begin. Toxic masculinity, I believe, comes from a belief in our society and in our culture. We have to be stronger physically, mentally, and emotionally than we actually are. And hence that gives us an ability to show weakness. That's what I believe toxic masculinity is, and that's what I believe it stems from.
I think just to add on that, I feel like especially African parents, it's enhanced because of culture and all those things whereby you're meant to be the man of the house always, at all times. You're always meant to be there, standing strong and everything. So I feel like also in African culture, it's more embedded, especially in Kenya as well. Yeah. What do you think?
I believe that it's now evolved. It's become, the jokes we share to each other, the things we say to each other. For example, something like, Benji, relax, just jigas and you're a man, So I believe that it's evolved to our generation and in the form of jokes and teasing each other. And I believe that it's affected us in a more serious way now.
Maybe as we're having this conversation, I'm just wondering do you guys, as men, feel like that pressure? Because, nobody, I don't think parents come up and say, you as my son, I want you to be violent or aggressive because you're a man. But somehow, there's an unwritten rule that this is how a man is supposed to behave in society. And since this conversation is specifically in regards to suicide, do you feel like that toxic masculinity, that kind of behavior, predisposes men to the negative emotions that lead to suicide?
Personally, I think so. Just building on what Brian was saying. I remember when I was small and you fall off a bike, your dad tells you, kwa mwanaume ni kujikaza. Right. So that's what you have to do. And I think that kind of starts at a young age. And so having that idea of, I have to keep myself strong, I have to look strong. And so in moments where you're weak, I think it might really take an effect on you if you're not able to be strong. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of has an effect because it can really disorient you and put you at, a lot of internal conflicts because you're feeling a lot of different things but can't seem to be able to express them or don't want to express them.
So I guess we also see our fathers, our male adult figures, being very strong and very hard in the way they do things. Mm-hmm. And we try to be those kind of people by watching and seeing that, they're so hard, they're so strong, they get things done, they move on with things, they don't cry, they don't go through. We see them like they don't go through the basic emotions that us as young men do. So we end up trying to be from a different age sometimes than we are. And I remember Brian's father once told us that us guys were from a digital age where we face different circumstances, different issues, while they are from quote unquote the Stone Age. So they faced much different things from us. So when we try to become them, try to become those older male figures, we end up harming ourselves more. And that's, I believe, leads to this toxic masculinity that then leads to, disaster.
So I believe that our parents rather, their nature nurtured them to become who they are.
Right.
Whereas for us, we grew up in a different nature from them, but we were still nurtured to be like them. Because we grew up in the same household, the same values, the same fundamentals, but we were from a different environment. So I believe that it forces us to become people that we are not. And I remember being asked by my dad, what could be disturbing you guys? You guys have everything. Us guys grew up with nothing. We had to suffer a lot. We had to do this and that. And I just told him that as things evolve, things become more complex, and with more complexity, more complications. So it's very hard because they never had the basics, and we had the basics. It doesn't mean that we don't have problems. Yeah, that's what I can say.
I think just to add on what Brian was saying, I feel like, with us, seeing how our parents work, it's already embedded into our DNA. So even without them having to tell us, many effort, you already, you see them doing it. So even also as a man, you see your father, working and everything. So also I think it's it's a settings by default.
Yeah.
Already, you just do it without thinking. So I think also kind of leads you to be stuck in between, having to have that pressure of your, what's the word? Sorry. English is hard. To have the pressure of, looking up to your father, So I think you're really caught in between, because even without that, them telling you, already feel inside okay, I have to do this.
It's a push.
Exactly, So
who here is comfortable crying in front of anyone here? I'm not. I can't cry in front of anyone here. Because there's that masculinity. You're not meant to, just be crying ovyo. Yeah. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I wouldn't be comfortable crying in front of you guys.
I agree. Depends on the situation.
Yeah.
No, it really
I'm saying
doesn't.
I'm not saying it's a joke or it's the time for fine, but for me I'm saying
No, it is. It is hard to cry in front of your male friends and your peers who you're going to be hung out with a lot more, because it's you feel this feeling will I be shamed? Will I be humiliated for showing those kind of emotions? So then that makes us hide those emotions and keep them inside, and sometimes they come out in disastrous ways, maybe rage, maybe toxicity to a female that you're in a relationship with, because I've seen that happen a lot. And I guess that toxicity sometimes spreads farther than we would want it to go. I guess nobody wants toxicity to spread, but can become quite disastrous.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. As you guys are talking, it's making me reflect on also a lot of the young people that I see, because basically the tenets behind toxic masculinity is the phrase that if you are strong, or the more you persevere, that's a sign of strength. If you show your emotions or tears, then that's a sign of weakness. And what man or even human being doesn't want to see, strong, or they have their stuff together? Can't say that stuff on them, but anyway, they have it together. Everybody wants to do that way, but in the end, it just forms kind of like a volcanic situation. You just pack things from childhood. Your dad said this, you cannot forget that. Your girlfriend maybe told you this in a fight, and you kind of pack that, and then you reach a saturation level, and that's it. You've had it. So are we saying that because you guys have said to each other and nobody raised their hands saying that you can't cry, so how do you express that kind of pressure to be a man? How are you guys expressing that?
I feel okay, if I could just say something. For all of us, it's probably different. For me, it's probably to express that emotion, I'd probably talk to one or two people of my close friends, and that's about it. But the circle is cut very tight.
Right.
And also it's also an issue that you had brought up last week. I don't know if it was Andrew, about that
Small
feeling
things.
of having someone else know what you're going through, and then at the back of your head you're worrying, are they going to go and tell someone else?
Right.
Yeah.
Or even use it against you.
Or use it against you, yeah. So me personally, like I think I'd talk the 2 or 3 friends that I talk to, then that's practically
It's worked.
Yeah, it's so far. Yeah.
Can I just add on to what Ma was saying? Yeah, I spoke about it last week. What I call it is exposing culture. It's very big in Nairobi. I know it's also globally, but it's very big where you feel that fear because it has happened to many people that if you tell someone or you be emotionally vulnerable with someone, the whole community will know about it. Everyone will know about it. And it's happened multiple times. And I keep trying to tell people, because I've, quote unquote, I've been part of exposing culture as a youth when I was in my A-levels, yes. And it's quite destructive, is what I've noticed. And it also it makes men unable, young men especially, unable to say how they really feel or be able to cry because they think, next week, everyone will know. You guys, I was just crying there like a B dash dash dash, you know? And so you don't want to cry, so you kept saying like, because of that simple fear of being the community's, the topic of the week, then you just hide those emotions, keep them, what I call underneath the curtains, close the curtains of the bedroom door, and just hold those emotions in. Yeah, it leads to disaster again.
And then you asked me this question about how parents don't like directly tell you must do this in the schools. So where does that daunting pressure come from? Like what parenting aspects do you feel like put more stress on making you listen to you?
And then I can lead that one. See, Brian just said a simple statement. He said that his dad has asked him before, which my dad has asked me. I'm sure a number of people's parents have asked them. If you guys have you guys have everything, then what issue do you have? So how can you speak on that issue that you have when you've been told you have everything? So who are you going to tell that you have that issue? If you can't tell the people who you see every day.
I think I can add to that. It's a situation also of, you won't be told directly, but let's say now that situation arises and kind of like a parent gets to know of it to some extent. Then the next statement you hear is, in my day, this is how it used to be resolved. Back in the day, when I was a child, when I was your age, this is how we used to do it. It's like, so why is it such a problem for you now? So it's that now they're turning it into now their situation, rather than trying to help you address the situation that is now your problem. So now from that short conversation of in my day, you feel pressure that you're underperforming, that is like, how come I can't handle this? Like, look, he used to be able to handle it when it was his problem and he had such many situations. And now from there, you feel like you're falling short of what is expected of you as someone's child, and now in our case as a man in this time. So yeah.
Also, just to add to what they were saying, like, I'll just give you like a short experience I had. So like, I think 2 years ago when I was in Florida doing my internship, my family like came down to visit, and like, I think I just came from work. It was one of those days, it was just a tricky day, So I remember like, I had like a moment, and like I had a really bad argument with my brother, and then like, I called my dad because I told him like, how things have been going and everything. And I remember like, he told me, I'll never forget, he told me, he's like, what's the problem? Everyone's here for you. Why are you acting up, And I was just like, how do you want me to express to you when you're giving me that kind of answer, So I feel like when they tell you those things directly or indirectly, you're kind of then lost, like, okay, so who am I supposed to tell these things, So I feel like also they can also play a big factor towards that, how you feel and everything, because, if someone, your parent is someone you treasure and everything, and you can't feel like you can go to them, like, you're kind of there lost, like, okay, what do I do now? So